This episode is brought to you by my clothing brand, Son of Man. You can go check it out. Season 2, we just launched it through the show notes in the description, or go to sonofmanskate.co.nz and check it out. Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 4 of the Son of Man podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about why I have started creating more content, and I'm going to be giving you guys some tips on how you could do it for your brand, or even your personal brand if that's a thing that you're interested in, but you might just find this interesting. So we're going to be talking about content, business, and all that sort of thing. But before we get into it, if I could just ask one favor, if you've been enjoying this podcast, please go leave a review on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to this on, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Stitcher, or YouTube even, wherever you're listening to this. Please just go give it a 5-star review. That would really help me out. Just trying to get on their new and noteworthy list day, so help a brother out, leave a review. If you want to go one step further, you can check it out on social media or screenshot this and chuck it on your story or something like that. But anyway, guys, let's get into this topic of why I'm creating more content. So basically, I was previously running ads with Facebook ads. They're super powerful. You can do all sorts of things. I talked about them briefly in the episode number 3, and they just got too expensive. I had this really good strategy that I probably just didn't execute well enough, but basically putting people through a sales funnel. I was trying to advertise to everyone at their own steps for context marketing, giving people what was relevant to them, and it just wasn't really working out. It was too expensive. It wasn't in the budget, which it's only going to get more expensive. But the strategy I'm doing now is running content to people, growing a community, growing like real fans, and then later we could probably market to them with Facebook ads in the future. But for right now, I'm more focused on just building an audience. And the amazing thing with content marketing is it's free until you scale it up. You can like hire authors and hire video people and all that sort of stuff. But for now, at the moment, it's free. And the thing with that though is it's a long-term game. Like, I'm not going to be seeing any spike in sales in the next month or 2, or maybe even 6 months. I don't plan on this being like a short-term thing, but content definitely is a long-term thing. It's the currency of the internet right now. Attention. The more you can hold people's attention, the more valuable your brand is going to be long-term. Well, one podcaster I listened to said even after a year of podcasting, he was still only getting about 10 listens per episode. And for context, my first 3 episodes totaled like 7 listens about after a week or so. And so it's definitely a long-term game. Gary Vee said he didn't get any real attention on his wine show for 18 months before that sort of took off. So this is definitely long term. I'm here just going to be grinding, just trying to stay consistent. It's going to be super hard, knowing me, because I don't expect to get any results for a long time, and that's what makes it super hard. But my goal, and hopefully I'll be able to just stay consistent over these next year or so, even 18 months, just staying consistent. My plan is podcasting 3 times a week and vlogging, doing a weekly vlog, and we'll just see how that goes. But anyway, as I said, I'm going to give you guys some tips on how you can create more content without much more time, basically. And this whole strategy, again, comes from Gary Vee. Where else would it come from? We're talking about creating more content. So what you want to do is start off with your pillar content. So that could be a vlog, that could be a podcast, that could be a blog post. Basically one big piece of content that takes a decent amount of time to make. So for example, this podcast would be a pillar piece of content. And then what you can do is convert that podcast into different forms of media. For example, I could upload it to YouTube. If I was recording a video, that would make it even better, but I'm not really doing that. I could transcribe it, type it all out, and make a blog post. That's even more content from the same pillar piece of content. But then where the magic really happens is when you start clipping these short clips from your pillar content and putting them out to social media. For example, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see clips from this podcast, you'll see clips from the vlog, and any other parts where we make content. You can share them around, distribute them to all sorts of other social media accounts. An example of how to do this would be record a podcast, upload that with a video if you can to YouTube, cut that podcast into short clips and upload them to your Facebook, to your Twitter, to your Instagram, wherever you are uploading content. You can also then take the quotes from that podcast, tweet them to Twitter, and screenshot the tweets, put them on Instagram. And as you can see, there's just all sorts of ways you can just start with this one pillar piece of content, whether it be a vlog or a podcast or a blog post, whatever it is, and put them into mediums that are relevant to the social media that you're posting on. So there's an easy way you can get one piece of content and distribute it. And so my plan is to currently, as I think I already said this, to do 3 podcast episodes a week and a vlog each week, and that gives me enough podcasts to cover up my weekly schedule for social media. At the moment, I'm posting 4 times a day on Instagram, and next week my plan is to actually take that up to 6 because it's been so successful so far. Now I'm going to leave you with one last tip when it comes to creating content. When I first started Son of Man, I tried to make everything just really polished and really professional, try to make it something that it wasn't. And in the reality, I'm just a one-man band running a clothing brand on the side. And so I decided to tap into that, just be raw, just be real, be like, damn, this is who I am, this is what I believe. And when you make content like that, I've already seen people hitting me up, commenting, saying how cool this is. People message me saying how cool it is. And that's just what really makes me happy. Because before I was like acting like, I wouldn't say that, but just the words I used would like make us seem more professional than what we really are. And then I decided to own the smallness of the brand, basically, and it's so I can reply to every comment, I can say who we are, and I think people like that. It makes everything seem more raw, more personal, and I think it's super powerful and people connect with it a whole lot better. Just trying to document the journey, you know. And another thing, as I said, with how to create this content, I basically just got this from Gary Vee. If you go on his LinkedIn, he has like a whole 100, 200 page slide. It's like a PowerPoint on how you can make so much content with so little effort. It's super cool. Search him up on LinkedIn or search how to make more content Gary Vee, and it'll come up on LinkedIn. Super powerful. I highly recommend you guys to go check that out. But basically, I think this was a short episode. I don't know how long it's been, but if you could do me, as I said before, just leave a review on this podcast. That would help me out a lot. We have another podcast coming out later in this week, so make sure to subscribe if you are looking forward to that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.